The greater than, less than symbol shown at the top of this video page is a symbol that causes some concern for students learning mathematics. The question that students ask is that symbol bigger than or less than? And people tie themselves in knots trying to remember, is it bigger than or is it less than? Well, the truth is, it's actually both. Over this side, the number that I write should be bigger than the number I write on this side. Now that statement there simply says that 7 is bigger than 5. Now in a minute, we're going to look at a way of remembering that really easily. But first, I want to introduce you to a word, inequality. Inequality is the name for the symbol. It's an inequality symbol. There it is there. We've said greater than, less than, but it can also be called an inequality. Now, how do you remember how it works or how to read it? Well, you can read it in both directions. 5 is smaller than 7. 7 is bigger than 5. But how are we going to remember which is which? Well, I think we should give it some teeth. Now, when we give it some teeth, we might also give it some nostrils and some beady eyes. We've got a crocodile. And there's one thing for sure that we all know about crocodiles, and that is that they're always hungry. So the crocodile should be snapping at the largest number. What a great way to remember how that sign works, how the inequality symbol is applied. So if I write something like, say, 10 and 2 times 4, so that number's 10 and that number's 8, and I want to connect that with an inequality symbol, I would have my crocodile snapping at the 10 because the 10 is bigger than the 8. Now, how do you read that? Well, you could say 2 times 4 is less than 10, or 10 is bigger than 2 times 4. You can read it in both directions. So all of the inequality symbols are bigger than and less than at the same time. Where you place the number and the relative size of the numbers determines whether or not what you have written is true or false. Now let's just think on this a little bit further. Let's say, for example, we had 10 and 5 times 2. And we wanted to connect those two numbers up. Well, the crocodile would have to close its mouth because they're the same, aren't they? 5 times 2 is 10, and obviously 10 is 10. So the crocodile closes its mouth, and that's where we get the equality symbol. In reality, the equality symbol, the symbol we use for equals, was developed first by a mathematician called Robert Recorde. Now, Robert Recorde used that symbol for the equal sign because he claimed that there is nothing more equal than a pair of parallel lines. So with an equal sign, we could write, for example, 12 is equal to 4 times 3. Now, if you think about it, the inequality symbol comes from the equal symbol. Now let's just write the equal symbol. Now if we pinch it in at the right-hand end, we get that inequality symbol. If we pinch it in at the left-hand end, we get that inequality symbol. So really, all of this simply comes from using Robert Recorde's idea from approximately 400 years ago to use a pair of parallel lines to represent equality. It's all pretty straightforward from here. Now if you write two numbers, let's say for example we write 1/3 and 1/2, and we have to connect those two up with an inequality or an equality sign, well 1/3 is less than a half. So the crocodile, if it knows what it's doing, will be snapping at the half. Reading it both directions, 1/3 is smaller than a half, or coming from the right-hand side, a half is bigger than 1/3. Once you become familiar with this, you'll probably hardly ever consider the crocodile again. But when you think about it, the symbol is wonderful, isn't it? Because the bigger part here the bigger part here as well should be with the bigger number. The smaller part should be with the smaller number. So that's our inequality sign. I hope that has helped you understand, and that no longer will you be confused by this symbol. And when you're thinking, which is it, bigger than, less than, remember, it's both. You just need to look at which way it should be facing, which way should the crocodile be facing to make the statement true. By the way, you can write inequalities like 2 is bigger than 3, where the crocodile is obviously snapping at the wrong number. That's okay, except comma, and you need to attach F for false. So you can write an inequality that is true, or you can write an inequality that's false. But a wonderful central connecting idea with all of this is think of the crocodile. There he is, helping you to understand the bigger number, where it should go, and the smaller number, where it should go. Thank you.